Danny Schlichte, property manager at One River Place, on-site property manager at One River Place. I've been with Liebran now for 2 years. Started at a different building, and I've been at One River Place now for about 6 months. You know, for a building of this size and this level of activity, we have 241 units. We have over 500 residents that live in the building. All of those residents from time to time will need something. You have that coupled with significant projects occurring at the same time, much like what we have going on now with the lobby renovation. All of those put together really require somebody like myself to be on site to service all of those needs on a daily basis. Two years ago when this project was conceived, the board had in mind, at that time as they still do, the idea for revitalizing the entire interior of this property. It all really starts with this lobby project. The second stage would be replacing the corridor carpet, which is going to occur next year, to start to bring that theme through the building. Third stage is going to be painting the corridors themselves in the next 2 to 3 years. And then the final stage would really be just to touch on some of the less trafficked areas of the building to tie it all together. We have extremely large footprint, although we're not a tall building by any means. With 8 stories, we have 300-foot hallways, very tall ceilings, and so these are considerable projects. I will say, a couple of years ago when the board conceived this project, they had in mind a long-term plan to really revitalize, I believe, the aesthetics of One River Place. This is a 90-year-old building that was recently converted about 11 years ago. And the conversion ultimately worked out very well for the homeowners. They have a fantastic building now, a fairly new building in the way of the interior. However, over the last 11 years or so, certain aspects of it have aged differently. And so the board felt strongly, as they do now, that overtime aspects would need to be enhanced for a multitude of reasons, from maintaining or potentially increasing home values, to attracting buyers, and of course improving the environment for the homeowners that live at One River Place. The bidding process for a project of this magnitude is fairly significant. It takes time. Initially the board met with a number of architects as well as contractors. Over a period of time, over the extent of many meetings, they really narrowed their search based on who they felt would be the best company for the architect and contractor to handle this type of job. And a lot of that is based on their previous experience as well. So in the end, they did select Macon and of course Scrofano to head that up. The project has gone off to a great start. It's been going on now for a little over a month. Initially when we began, we knew there were a few unknowns that we may have to make decisions on once we got to that point. For example, there was a large column in our lobby that was previously hidden in a soffit, and that soffit was removed, again trying to expose that column and sort of showcase some of the history of this building, because that is an original column to the property. Well, when that soffit was removed, that column appeared to be very rough, certainly not something you could just leave exposed as it was, and so again, as with any hurdle we've encountered, the contractor, the architect, and Lieberman management have worked kind of in concert to make sure that those hurdles are overcome and haven't posed any delays to the project. Whenever you're working on a project of this type, be it the real epicenter of this building, the lobby, is getting disrupted to the point that it is in this case and significantly impacted, there are certainly a lot of challenges that arise, more so I think than when you're working on an isolated area of the building that may be less trafficked. However, I will tell you that management's ultimate goal, of course, is to limit any negative impact to the homeowners themselves, and I think we've been successful at doing that. The project began about a month and a half ago, mid-September, rather late September, and we're projecting a completion date of early December. So again, it's a moving target, as it always is, but we feel confident being halfway through the project at this point that we're going to meet that deadline.